This is sort of a video response. It's actually a video response to a tweet that Lisa Astruc made the other day about this guy. She works in a hotel, and he comes in, I guess, regularly and gets breakfast and reads the newspaper, and it's obvious that he lives in the town, and he just comes there for the breakfast, the newspaper. And it reminded me of when I was 15, my parents divorced, and for whatever reason, my dad didn't want us to know where he lived, and we never did know. And to this, I've never asked him. We never knew where he lived, nor did we have his phone number. One day, I remember my mom was yelling at him on the phone about spending time with my sister and me. My older sister and brother were already off in college, and so they were on the phone, and she's like, you need to spend time with your children, blah, 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 because there had been weeks that we hadn't seen him, and frankly, it didn't matter. It really wasn't affecting me. I don't know about my sister, but the divorce decree usually is every Wednesday night, dinner, and then every other weekend. Well, we never did the every other weekend thing, but we did do the Wednesday night thing. He would come pick us up and take us to dinner, and then we would go to a hotel lobby and hang out for a little bit. Because early on, he would take us, Target and stuff, and buy us whatever. I think it was just something easy to do, and I don't know. It pissed my mom off because we would come back with new things, and then she had to yell at him about buying us all this stuff. And I guess my dad, too, was going through some sort of midlife crisis because he, after he left my mom, he lost a bunch of weight and bought a Z28, okay? I know 2 of his 4 kids were in college, but there were still 2 of us. And I don't know if you've seen a Z28 from the mid-'80s. I don't know if they still make those or not. But they're 2-seaters, really. So one of us, and we would take turns, I guess, would have to lie down in the back of the Z28. And it was like being kidnapped every Wednesday, sort of having to lie back in the back of this 2-seater, not even able to sit up, but to physically be sort of in a fetal position, going to a hotel lobby. Whatever crisis you're going through, you still have to think about, you got kids you got to drive around, and he, didn't. And then at that point I got my license, and so we would still meet him at a restaurant, and then we would take his car to a hotel lobby. And it was a different hotel each week. So we really got to know all the hotels in Dallas. We would go and sit there and have really awkward conversation or no conversation at all. And we'd have a soda, and he would have a glass of wine or a drink or something. If the hotel lobby had an elevator that you could see, look out on, my sister would go up and down that the whole time. Which was actually kind of nice because it gave us something to talk about. Oh, there she goes. There she goes. Yeah, she's waving. Good to see you. All right. And then back to the awkward conversation. And then my future stepmother would come, and we would all sit there, and my sister would go off again doing the elevator thing because she was 13, and maybe it was too awkward for her to sit there. I don't know. Yeah. And I never did ask him where he lived or anything like that. I just made an assumption, even at 15, 16, that he and my stepmom were living together, and he just didn't want us to know that. I did sort of, fantasize about following him one day, just to know where he lived, but I drove a hatchback Chevette with a luggage rack on the top that didn't blend into traffic at all, really. No. It was, I think the only one in Dallas. So I couldn't have followed him anywhere without totally being noticed. So I was smart enough to not try that, because that would have been weird too. Because who knows where he would have gone. If he noticed me following him, he would have driven to Oklahoma, I think. That was a good, I don't know, 2 or 3 years of that until I went to college, hanging out at the hotel lobbies. Those were times. there's a suicidal bee that just is determined to kill itself slamming up against something, and I'm afraid it might be me.